All right, we're back. Another podcast. Been some movement today. The RBA has met again, and I think talking about dropping interest rates, you've probably heard a lot of things in the news about their, will they, won't they, looking at unemployment and some of the factors that they usually use to, should they drop things. Last time they dropped rates was November 2020, so it's been a little while. A couple of people struggling with cost of living, and the RBA has made up its mind and said they are reducing rates. So 25 basis points. So for a bit of terminology, when they talk basis points and it's 25, that actually means 0.25%. Easiest way to think about it. So
quarter percent.
Yeah, 1/4%. So that's done.
That's November 23, was it? Was it 2020?
2020 was the last time I saw it reduce,
right?
Whereas they've been increasing it steadily since.
Yep. So November 23 was pretty much been on hold, been in a holding pattern. Yep. So.
And now finally a reduction. So whether that'll continue or not, yet to see, but certainly a little bit of that relief for cost of living for some people. The question now becomes, well, do you reduce your mortgage repayments and try and use that to offset lifestyle, or do you continue on with those payments knowing that you can now repay down the debt a little bit quicker? So
yeah, it's on the assumption that all the banks will pass this on.
Yeah, it's a good point. So I guess so far we're just reading as well. So we've got more coming through, but the NAB's passed it on. I believe Westpac as well. Commonwealth Bank, so CBA, so a couple of them have already agreed to pass it on with both the variable and the fixed.
There's a bit of sheep following, so once the majors have done that, one or two of those, I reckon the rest will follow now then. So.
Yeah, well I guess they're incentivised if they want to keep the clients that they've got. They're going to want to follow suit. So
it's a pretty competitive market with mortgage lending at the moment, so they're all trying to keep their market share, so all the banks.
And people are willing to leave. People are getting a bit fed up with interest rates, so certainly if the one that they're with, the bank they're with, is not coming to the party, they're more likely to leave. So yeah, it's a bit of a watch this space at the moment. It's all very fresh in today, so we thought we'd just make a quick video to pass that on to people who are watching that yes, there's been a 1/4% drop in interest rates.
So just unpack that comment you made previously about whether you what do you do with that saving as it comes through, I suppose, from the bank. So are you saying you could keep, so at the moment you might be paying X dollars per month repayment for principal and interest, and therefore the interest component has come down a bit. And so you can reduce, or subject to the bank's approval, reduce the total quantum to give yourself some extra cash flow in your household budget.
That's certainly option one.
Or the second option is to keep it at the same amount, which means the mix between principal and interest means that you're paying more off the principal with a lower interest, and you're sort of getting ahead of the curve. So
yeah, spot on, because we never know what will change in the future. Interest rates may go back up again, or they may stay flat for a while. So it's really just trying to balance, what's the priority? Is it around repaying debt as quickly as possible, or is it trying to find relief in your household budget? Particularly after Christmas, a lot of people are readjusting their spending habits, and maybe this is a good time to reevaluate, where your resources are being deployed. So certainly we can help model if someone's got some questions and want to reach out and see how that might impact them, not just on a monthly basis, but over a 5+ year basis. We can model that. So
I think the thing for me is that there was the market tipping majority, or the consensus was the rate would have been dropped today as it has. But you're never 100% sure. The RBA was slow probably on the way in compared to other countries in terms of increasing interest rates, and I suspect they might have been slower on the way down. And they have been slow, but this is a good sign. And I think from a normality perspective, the fact that the first movement they've done recently is a downward movement is sort of an indicative sign, and I think people are sort of holding on to playing the waiting game, depending on what the next move might be, because there was speculation a few months ago that the inflation was still too high, and that we may even have a percentage of the economists predicting an increase. But I think having it movement down just means that people probably have a little bit more confidence that we're not going to get further significant upward movements, and whether that is the first of many to come, you can
only guess.
You can spend hours watching plenty of economists to debate that point. But
some might remember when COVID was happening and interest rates were quite low, everyone was saying it's definitely not going to, even the RBA said we're not looking to raise it for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden it raises. So always just dealing in what is reality, not what could be. And right now the reality is 0.25% drop in interest rates, hopefully being passed on to, I guess, all the banks, but it's day one at the moment.
Yeah, sounds like they're ready to pass it all through.
So just seeing if you're on a variable rate, whether you stick with that, whether fixed rate's more appropriate. There's so many variables that go into it, and then we loosely touched on, do you repay back your debt faster or do you drop your repayments? So
it will be interesting to see what happens in that fixed rate market as well. Meaning you can lock either all or percentage of your mortgage into a fixed rate environment. Just gives you, I suppose, for some people, a peace of mind to know that there's a definite payment, can't increase or decrease over a period of time. So
in the same way that I guess if you're renting, you want to know that month on month your landlord's not raising or lowering the rent necessarily. It's a fixed payment for a period of time. That's attractive for some people. Others who want to have that flexibility and they go with that variable rate.
So great news for mortgage holders and people suffering, or not suffering, but just dealing with cost of living pressures. So the pensioners or the people self-funded retirees have had had a rate cut today. So but overall, I think it's good for the majority of people who are doing it tough over the last X months. So
good summary. Excellent. Well, we'll see you next time with another update.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks.